Welcome back to Levity Books. My name is Liam, and I hope you're reading well. I've been reading quite a bit recently, which is why I've been a bit distant from YouTube uploads. I've done these three, and I'm working through Timequake, and there's also been a big ebook I've been reading for a book club, so I'm like super active all the time. But I had to tell you about this one. I just recently read it. I want to review it quickly now while it's in my mind. 5-star graphic novel release, and I don't know why it's not more popular on Goodreads or just online in general. I saw this around a lot on the internet when it first came out, like maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, and I saw the cover and I thought, I'm not gonna like this because it's YA. This is like for young adults. It's aimed at early teens, and it's about being a young teen. And I actually thought it was like a romance novel. It looks like a romance novel, but it's just all, I just had massive misconceptions about this. This is the closest thing to Craig Thompson's Blankets. This is one of the best graphic novels that I've read, and one of the best for young adults, people who are teens, or people who want to explore what it is to grow up. This is like a coming of age story, and kind of looks a bit like that, but we'll jump in on some actual main parts. So the main story is about Rose and her family going to a summer camp. This one summer is about a summer camp experience, and it's a story of friendship between two girls. It's a story of understanding how relationships work and what makes relationships hard, what marriage means, what having children means. This is almost like, I don't know, it's not exactly sex education, but it's like something like that, but for girls understanding what it means to grow up. And it's just so, it's written from such a nice place. The views are very balanced, and it gives the kind of perspective that someone growing up has when they're learning of things like what pregnancy means. And it's also just a really fun story. There's like dance scenes, and there's lots of small things that happen. I think people that don't like this tend to find that nothing happens too much in this. It's too much like reality, where there aren't continuous action events happening. But I really like that. So anyone who likes literary fiction or classics or stories where it's really trying to show what it's like to live realistically, this is an excellent read. And it's just, yeah, I was just really, really surprised. I went in thinking this is going to be a mediocre story that I just wouldn't relate to. But I really did like it. It's got a real good feel-good factor to it. It's just a fun, cozy read. And the art style is pretty nice. And there's some good characters in here. There's obviously great representation in here. So yeah, it's just a really nice story. And I just want to recommend anyone looking for comics for a teenager, this is perfect. This is a perfect gift for any teenager who's looking for comics. Obviously, this will be better for girls, and I think that's another thing that's fantastic about it. It's another story. It's another comic that is written by, we've got female authors, and we have story about girls growing up. That's not something that's normally covered in the superhero action hero fighting comic scene that used to be, that comics grew up being mainly about boys and men and stories for men, and now we finally have the full kind of picture. We have more representation, and I really like that. I think it's a new perspective. The story reads completely differently from a normal comic. This is the other end. This is like the opposite to an Alan Moore comic, the Watchmen or V for Vendetta. Also, like my favorite novels, and I prefer them, to be honest. But this is like the other end of that, and it's still amazing. It's still really good. It's really something when you can have the author of Anna and the French Kiss and Craig Thompson, the author of Blankets, both recommending it. Like it's clearly brought a lot of people together, and I found it mainly through I found this in the library obviously, but I found it mainly through one of my favorite Goodreads users, David Schaufsma. He's a professor of English in America, and he has a comics course he gives. And I know him because I went through a phase of reading a ton of comics just like this. And he's always been saying he really likes teaching this. He says it's his favorite one for teaching to university students or young adults because they find they really relate to the themes and enjoy it. And I always kind of looked at it skeptical, like maybe I'm too old for this, but it's definitely written for younger people. But I like it, you know. And I think a lot of YA I can't really get with, but for some reason in comics form I can forgive it because I think it gets to the true nature of it. It's almost a bit like how Catcher in the Rye is really YA. If you think about it, it's about a teen, but because it's written in a certain way, that makes it a classic. Same thing here. It's like this could have been, you know, just for teens if it wasn't written in such a great way that kind of anyone can connect with. So, yeah, if you're looking for a gift or you're trying to get into comics and you've never been into comics, you'll love this. I think this is a comic for people who aren't into comics but do like feel-good stories about growing up or feel-good stories about what romance is and relationships are. I really liked it, and I'm still trying to figure out why. So yeah, I would totally recommend this to anyone. Not too much happens. If you want a really action-paced story, then go find that. But if you want a story where you see yourself and you see what growing up really was like, then if you got like nostalgia and you want to like have a great look at what it is to grow up, this is it. This is the book you want. So with that, happy reading.